Are you looking for your partner? Are you wondering if it's even possible to reach a whole new level of love this time around? We've got an answer for that question with my guest, love coach Junie Moon. Junie Moon is a love coach, women's empowerment leader, and certified shadow work coach. She's the international best-selling author of Loving the Whole Package, Shed the Shame, and Live Life Out Loud, and the host of the successful Midlife Love Out Loud podcast. She's also the producer of the film Shed the Shame that she starred in. Junie has supported thousands of women over the past 30 years to claim what is their birthright, the freedom to be and love themselves without apology. Junie helps women in midlife to magnetize their ideal partner and experience next level love. I am so glad you're here with us, Junie, and I can't wait to explore this whole concept with you of next level love.
I know. I'm so happy to have this time with you too. Thanks for having me.
Glad to. Well, let's talk about next level love. What the heck is that? I know that's your thing. So, yeah, what is it? How do
Yeah.
you get it into your life?
Okay, well, let's start with what it is, then we can talk about how the
Okay,
heck do we
all
bring
right.
it in.
One thing at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. And it's a new concept that I kind of coined because I was like, wow, this is different. This is amazing. This is next level love. So how I view it is when you could love yourself and relax in your own body and be authentic, to be able to just show up without hiding your truth and be able to go, yep, this is me and enjoy it with a partner. And that partner goes, huh, I love that she's authentic and I could meet her heart to heart, soul to soul. And you both are in that place. That's next level love. Full acceptance of our beauty and our flaws, and to be able to just relax in that relationship where there's that mutual just admiration and yumminess. That's next level love. So that's what I discovered after my marriage, and I was like, oh, I am so glad I left that marriage.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I figured out that that was so dysfunctional and so painful. And then the question is, how did I call in next level love? So should I just jump right into that?
Yeah, all right, jump in.
All right. So to jump into how I got it, I need to start with where I was before I had it. And so, I was in a marriage of 20 years, and I brought into that marriage a lot of beliefs about life and love, more importantly, about how I was, how I showed up. I was afraid to be me. To be really honest, I had really low self esteem, and I was so terrified, and I mean literally terrified, to just relax and share my truth and be open. And so I walked on eggshells. I had like a constant knot in my stomach because I micromanaged everything. I was afraid to blow up the marriage because I was so terrified of being alone. I wasn't comfortable with myself. I didn't love myself. And so I was looking outside myself to feel complete. I'm sure there's at least somebody who relates to that. And so I pulled all of these beliefs from many different experiences in my life, specifically more my relationship with my dad, who I lost at 14. And I took on a lot of beliefs around, I'm not safe without a man. I need a man to take care of me and to love me unconditionally. Otherwise, I'm left. And that's what I brought into my marriage. So I worked so hard, and then I ate a lot of food to manage all my discomfort, and I hit 200 pounds.
Oh,
That was a,
really?
I know you probably didn't know that. And
Hard to
so,
believe. Wow.
yeah. Sometimes it's hard to believe at this point too, because it was so long ago and I'm just so grateful. But 20 years ago, I hit that mark and I knew I had a huge problem. And that led me on the deeper dive of what's going on. And yes, we had some huge dysfunction in our marriage. And I brought to the table all of my shadows, all of my baggage. And so I did the deep healing work. I found a mentor. I found somebody who could really help me with those blind spots of, oh, this is about me. Not that he didn't bring his bag, but this is the stuff I needed to do, the healing I needed to do. And sadly, my marriage didn't go for the ride with me. But after doing the deep dive, I went into the next relationship and it was just spectacular. And I was like, oh my God, this is easier. Relationships take work, but it was so much more smooth. And I was able to relax and have that magnificence and that soulful connection that I never thought was possible. And that's why I do the work I do, because if I can move from that to having a life filled with love and being able to just show up authentically as me, I knew I had to help other people. So that's next level love.
I love it. I love it. And I love your story.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
And I'm
you.
really struck by how you recognized, wait a minute, there's something about me, in me, that needs to be tended to, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right. And I'm sure
yeah.
you're helping people that struggle. So, like you did. So, talk about the struggle. Why are we struggling so much?
Yeah, yeah. Well, most of the women I work with, because I primarily work with women, some guys knock on my door and I support them as well. But most women are over 40, if not 50s and 60s and above. And the struggle is the lifetime, the decades of picking up beliefs around our who we are, our lovability. Of course, one of the big struggles is, oh, I'm older, who's going to love me with my sagging boobs, who's going to love me with the fact that I might have some medical issues now. Have I missed the love train? Or people are just really terrified of falling back down the rabbit hole of the same person, the same drama, and they're just scared. They're real, that fear of, I don't want to take a risk here because the last time I opened up my heart, I got crushed. So we're bumping up against a lot of our experiences that have this part I call the risk manager going, yeah, we're not taking this chance. We're gonna sabotage you in any way we can. We're gonna make you feel like crap. We're gonna tell you you're too fat. We're gonna tell you there are no good guys out there. And that's gonna scare you so much that you're not gonna try. So there's a lot of reasons why people are hesitant, especially when we're older. A lot of women haven't dated since they were in their 20s. So they're like, now what do I do? So it's kind of like the Wild West. It's like, whoa, new territory. How do I do this? And we start by unpacking the past and really shining a light on what did we pick up that's not really true anymore? And how do we become our inner soulmates, our best soulmates, so that we can open to partnership in a very different way.
Yeah. Talk about how you do that, Junie. How do you help a woman unpack that and
Yeah,
be able to get to that light so she can see what it is that she's created as a belief pattern or belief patterns,
yeah,
usually more than one, right?
yeah, yeah,
That are creating these self-sabotaging moments.
yeah. We got a bag. We got a bag of beliefs. We've got a bag of life that has shaped us. Parents and our culture and all these beliefs around how what's acceptable, what's lovable, all those things. So how I help people is firstly helping them take some shame off of the fact that they have this bag, that they have taken on some beliefs about themselves that maybe has hurt them along the way. A lot of women feel badly about themselves or how they showed up in relationships, or they beat themselves up because of their choices in the past. And I really think we need to really come home to that healing of our own hearts to go, sister, you didn't know any better. And you did the best you could. And so I'm a shadow worker. That's my main body of training, even though I did some Tony Robbins coaching as well. I got trained in one of his programs as well. But mostly I do what's called shadow work. I help people see what's in shadow. What did they lose access to? What did they disown? And
Mm.
where are they shaming themselves? And so it starts with acknowledging that something is kind of out of order, something is not in sync, and that you're not feeling aligned, you're not feeling happy or excited or open. And so, the first A, as I call it, is acknowledging that you want something different, you want to feel differently, and to be able to have that honesty that something is not the way you want it and that you would like something to shift. Because a lot, it takes courage. It really takes courage to look at this bag And people are like, "Well, that sounds really scary, Junie. I don't know. I don't know if I really want to dive into this work." And what I offer to everyone that might be thinking that is, it's way more scary not looking in the bag. It's way more scary to keep doing the same things over and over and feeling like you're a failure or you're never going to have love or feeling alone. So we start with right where you are and go, what is it you want?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
what's happened, and let's acknowledge it. Let's just drop into the truth of the journey, the human journey, and take some shame off. And then we get started by really owning confidence and getting clear about the direction you're going in. We do these special processes to really take some of those layers off of shame so that you really can come home to that beautiful place that you're in now and open up your hearts. So there's lots of different roads to Rome. There's different ways to do it. And I always say the first step is acknowledging that something's not the way you want it. And
Right.
then the next way, the next place is awareness, like, well, how is that showing up in your life, and being conscious of the cost. Because
Mm.
here's the thing, so much of why we do what we do and our sabotaging behaviors, it's all coming from our unconscious realm.
Yeah.
We might say we want love. We might say we want to go dating. We might do all the quote right things, getting the dating profile, putting ourselves out there. And then we're like, why isn't it working?
Yeah.
It's the unconscious realm working against you. So we need to shine a light on what that is and do the healing work so you can really show up in the way that you want, authentically, boldly, and loving yourself every step of the way.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Junie, what are some of the ways that you see that we as women tend to shame ourselves when it comes to relationship that is really kind of at the core of that self-sabotaging self-talk?
Ooh, I think there's multiple things that that
Yeah.
that are popping into my head right now. One of the common things I see with women, I'll say, is we overgive. We overgive. We overnourish. we kind of give what we hope to get, and that's some of the programming too, of to be a good little girl, to be seen, not heard, just show up and make your man happy. And so one of the reasons that happens is because our culture is still showing us these rom-coms and these movies and to all the media that's telling us we're supposed to act a certain way. But one of the other shaming things is about our bodies. And that's a huge one, because as much as we have grown, as much as women are becoming more empowered and we're lifting each other up, we are still being knocked down left and right. We are still being bombarded by pictures. And I mean, every freaking time I watch something on TV, there's a go-go bar scene, or some woman that I don't look like, and and then the programming kicks in. It's like, oh, who's gonna love me because I don't look like that? So many women, and I've worked it, and thankfully I've come a long way. Still have some healing to do around that, but mostly I'm comfortable in my own skin. But that's one of the biggest shaming things that women feel, which is, I don't look like that 20 or 30-year-old anymore. Who's going to really want me? Or am I attractive anymore? I am fat. I'm ugly. I am not lovable.
I have
So
wrinkles.
I have wrinkles. I have jowls, right? Like sometimes I'll catch myself in the mirror and I'm like,
Me too. Yeah.
like maybe I'll go like that when I'm sitting across, and that impacts how we show up with everything in our life, because we're talking about love here, and yet it shows up everywhere. It shows up with our friends, it shows up with our other family members, because our inner dialogue is telling us we're not beautiful, or we're not valuable like we used to be, because we're older. So there's lots of shaming messages. There is lots of stuff, like that bag of beliefs that we carry. So there's not really one main thing, but I think the two biggest things is age and body challenges when it comes to shaming messages. That's a big one that I bump up against when the women work with me. Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. It really helps create a context. I
yeah,
think for any of us to look at ourselves and say, whoa, do I do that? And I would think if we were really honest, most of us would have to say, as we're aging to some degree, yes, right? We're not
Yeah.
fully accepting and loving ourselves as we are.
Yeah.
So, how do we get to that place where we do accept ourselves and love ourselves as we are?
It's a journey. I'll just say that it's a journey, and I work it. I really do, and where I used to drink the poison and it make me sick for weeks, months, or years of self-hatred. Now I'll catch those thoughts really quickly and I shift them. I have the tools. And so how do you do it? There's lots of different ways to do it. Now, here's the thing. Most of the stuff that's out there, most of the things that people are teaching is what I call neck up strategies. Let's write the affirmations down. Let's put them on the mirrors and let me just go, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with that. It might make a dent in that belief. However, I always say we're swimming up a waterfall with that strategy, because there's a waterfall of messages all the time saying, you're not beautiful, you're not beautiful, you're not beautiful. And that's what we have to tap into. So, there's lots of great strategies with journaling and affirmations and moving your body. So there's wonderful things to help us feel better about ourselves, for sure. How we nourish our food. I mean, nourish ourselves with food, and who we surround ourselves with. Are they toxic people or people that lift us up? So those are great tools. However, we still have the waterfall. And so when I work with people, we're doing special exercises, different transformational processes to shine a light on the unconscious realm. And we deal with that part, that voice that's going, yeah, no one's going to want you. You're too old. And we learn how to take a stand energetically in our body to go, no, that is not true. So some of it's a little act as if, and we have to own it in different ways, and we, step by step. However, these processes that I do, and in the events that I'm sure we'll talk about in a few minutes, the Love-a-thon, we are peeling back the layers and, opening the curtains, or whatever the saying is, to go, oh, wait a second, this is BS, belief systems I've picked up, and it's not valid, and I refuse to believe this. So we embody these new messages. We own these new messages. It's like a new pair of shoes, and we gotta walk in them and get those shoes like working with us, and then we own them, and then we can strut our stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so glad you're really speaking to this, that you have to get to the unconscious mind. That's where transformation takes place. When it's at your core, your essence, and who you are, it lasts.
Yeah.
And there's effort, but you don't have to work nearly as hard because
Mhm.
those beliefs get set in those unconscious realms, right?
Absolutely. And
Not going
that's
to do it
why,
with your neck up.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it helps. We need to have that understanding.
Mhm.
We need to have that awareness. But if we don't tap into the rest of our being that has been holding all of these beliefs, it's
Right.
not going to stick. And that's why I call shadow work, the work I do, transformation that sticks. And it accelerates the journey. So when somebody's been in therapy for 5, 10, 20 years, a lot of therapists will refer people to me and other shadow workers, because they know so much that, their clients know so much, but it's not holding. They're not getting the shift. They're not able to change the patterns. And so in a short period of time, we shift that and people are feeling relief. I mean, I had a client the other day. She's been with me about a year and a half. She's been working with me for a while. And it blew me away. And she was just in a group that I have. She was sharing so vulnerably and so beautifully. And she was like, Junie, I know a year ago when you asked that question, I couldn't answer it. I mean, I had it in me, but I couldn't even bring myself to speak. And this year, she was just so able to open up her heart and share. She's like, my self esteem is so different. My clarity is so different. She was able to own it so differently. And guess what? She has now put herself out there and she's really starting to date and having a very different experience compared to a year ago. Now, some people go right back out there and people have great experiences. Some people take a little longer because of the traumas and all the deep-seated messages. So wherever you are, sister who's watching the video, you have your own journey. So breathe into that. But yeah, to really have transformation that sticks, we've got to get beyond the conscious mind, because that's what's running us. And that's why we're tripping ourselves up and not having the life that we so deserve.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're speaking to this because it's fundamental. There's a bit of a myth out there that we can do it all by just knowing I have to think differently or knowing I have to see things differently, and then we wonder why we keep repeating the patterns. And
Yeah.
it's because the transformation hasn't happened deeply
Yeah.
enough, and hence the need for the kind of shadow work that you're talking about to go in and, as you say, bring it to light, bring it to love, it sounds like.
Ah, bring it to love. I love that. That's great. I love that. That I have not, that was great. I love that. And guess what? When people don't know this and people are working so hard with the neck up, they have more shame. What's wrong with me? Why haven't I been able to change this pattern? Why do I keep picking the same men over and over? They look different, but sure enough, it's somebody else who has the same qualities as the last guy. Or why am I still anxious and not able to really connect in the way that I want? So then they start feeling bad about themselves, which deepens the wounding. So we need to nip that in the bud and clear out that crap so that you really can have the transformation that sticks.
Yeah, well said. Well said. So you've got a love-a-thon going on. Tell us about the love-a-thon.
Yes, yes. Well, it's called Magnetize Midlife Love. And yes, I call it a love-a-thon because 7 days for about an hour a day, I do a training on this topic of breaking through these blind spots so that you can have clarity and confidence, open up your heart in a safe way, and have some really healthy boundaries. And we do transformational processes every day so that there are shifts and healing. And we do this in a sisterhood. Oh my God, the women support each other in such a beautiful way. There's laughter, there are contests where people can win some really cool prizes. And we even have a grand prize worth over $1,000 of training. So it's one of my favorite things to do because I see so much transformation in the women. They get inspired and they get their hope back. And that to me is such a gift because many women are giving up and I will not stand for that. I stand for love for everybody. And so I have free tickets for your people, whoever clicks on your link. It's a free event for them.
Awesome.
And I just friggin' love doing this to help people really rise up into their queen, knowing their value and coming home to their hearts so they can truly open to next level love.
Well, I freaking love that you're doing it, Junie. I think this is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I've done it
Totally.
a bunch of times and every single time I do it, I'm like, oh, I'm totally doing it again. I do it about once or twice a year. So it is coming up and I'm so thrilled. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. So, those of you sisters who are watching, the link is down below. Remember, there's a seat for you, a free seat for you at Junie's Love-a-thon. And then also her website is available. So, when the Love-a-thon is over, you can still get over there and get connected with Junie. So, is there anything that you want to say, Junie, to kind of bring it all
Ah.
home and in closing?
I always say the same thing, which is it's never too late for love because that's what happens. A lot of people feel like it's just too late for them. And there's just love, there's an abundance of love. And it's just waiting for us to tap into and clean up some of those beliefs. And it doesn't have to take years. Seriously, you could have a huge love breakthrough in the love-a-thon and really set the love boat in the right direction. So it's never too late for love. I see clients of mine in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. I even have a friend's mother, she's not my client, but a friend's mother in early 80s who just found love with this guy in a delicatessen. They started talking, they're in love, they're having this amazing love affair. So never friggin' too late for love.
Absolutely. I love it, Junie. And everybody make sure that you go down, grab the link, get to the Loveathon. If you're seeing this broadcast after the Loveathon, go to Junie's website and get to know her. She is an awesome woman, as you can tell, full of
Mm,
life and love and energy. And I know you're going to have a grand experience with her. So thank
thank
you,
you.
Junie. Thank you for being here doing this fabulous
Ah,
work.
thank you, hon. Thanks for having me. And what an amazing presence you are. I know you're doing such amazing work in the world, and I'm so grateful to have time with you. So thank you.
Thank you, love. All right. Love to you. Love to everybody. Until we meet again, I'll be holding you in my heart and in my songs.